Hey y'all, I'm here with what I hope will be an interesting video for everyone today. I can't believe I haven't talked about this yet, and I probably would have never thought of this, uh, except that I was talking to someone the other day, actually someone who saw my videos, a professor, and um, and while talking with him, I was reminded that I've never talked about my experience during college, my experiences. And I thought, wow, gee, that would be a great video. I'm sure a lot of people could benefit from the information I have and um, would be interested to hear it. So, I have a lot of stuff to talk about. Usually I don't write stuff down, as you all know, but this time I did. I've got about 14, 15 different things to talk about. So this video is going to be a bit long, so I'll get right to it. So I went to Monmouth University right here in New Jersey, in Monmouth County, and I was there from September 2000 to May 2004. My major was music industry. I minored in business because the music industry major had a bunch of classes that were similar. Uh, the music industry major and the business minor had similar classes, so it made sense for me to do both of them. I actually took some classes in the summer too, and you know what? They were really fun. And some professors will tell you this, some professors won't. But sometimes the classes during the summer are easier, um, and I had that experience. With the exception of one, one was really really tough, but most of them were pretty easy, which was nice. um, so basically, for the most part, whether you're handicapped or not, if you have the will to do something, and this I mean directly relates to the college experience, if you want to go to college, you'll be able to do it. I mean, there are going to be problems you encounter along the way, but you'll be able to do it as long as you have the will. Um, like I just said, good and bad. So the first the first thing I would like to talk about is something that was negative. When I first met the head of the music department, he looked at me, looked at my wheelchair, and said, "You know, it's probably going to take you at least 6 years to graduate, because it's really tough. You're going to have some trouble." And as I just mentioned, I was there for 4 years, which is pretty typical. Um, and I didn't really have any trouble whatsoever academically. I will get to my uh, what happened to me academically later. Um, but anyway, it's just people get these impressions, and however, a lot of other people in the music department were just the opposite. They were very impressed by my work. They were anyway. So that was a negative right off the bat, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Okay, so the second thing I'd like to talk about is that before I started classes my freshman year, I I and my mom and dad, um, we we checked out all the bathrooms on campus. We checked out all of the ramps on campus, everywhere where there was steps, everywhere where there was an elevator, anything like that. We found it because it was important to know. And um, continuing with that, in the theater where most of my classes were, there was no elevator to get upstairs. I just needed a sip of water. So no elevator, and no elevator to get upstairs, no elevator to get to the stage. So this meant I had a few problems. every music major has to take piano lessons. I was unable to take them with the regular class because all of the keyboards were located upstairs, and I couldn't get upstairs, as I just mentioned. So what happened was I took them downstairs, separate from everybody else, and also most kids, not most kids, all of the kids except me, had piano lessons twice a week, and I only had it once a week. Now, this wasn't really a huge issue for me because I had been taking piano lessons since I was 4 years old. But the fact that I wasn't getting what every other student was getting isn't really fair. It's not nice. Um, another problem was that I couldn't go to my advisor's office because his office was upstairs and no elevator. So he had to come downstairs, which meant I couldn't just like pop in for a visit. I had to email him or call him beforehand, whereas other students could just go up and see them anytime they want. And let's see, third on that was I couldn't be in any musicals or play for any musicals, play guitar or piano or whatever, because there was no elevator to the stage. However, at the end of my junior year, an elevator was put into the stage. I ended up not doing any shows or anything like that because, as I mentioned previously, the head of the department, who was also the director for all the shows, was not really thrilled with me, so I didn't do anything there. A good thing I would like to point out is that when I first got there, the bathroom in the theater on the ground floor, I don't even know if there were bathrooms upstairs because I was never upstairs, but on the ground floor, it was extremely small when I first got there, and it didn't take them long, maybe when I say it didn't take them long, about a year to enlarge it, which was, I mean, a year is a long time, but it wasn't that bad because at the time I was a freshman and I had to take classes in a different part of campus. So by the time I took classes in the music department in the theater, it was already fixed. Okay, so the next thing I would like to talk about. A place I used to call David Nast's office because a guy named David Nast was the head of the department, I guess. It was actually a special services office, and what they did was they would give you forms. When I say you, I mean students with disabilities. Forms for, let's say, like this. I actually still have some of the forms because I was just looking through my old college stuff. And it would say you'd have to fill it out. Excuse me, sorry. Student's name, date, professor's name, what course it was. Then they'd say what accommodations right here are needed. Do you need a note taker? I never needed a note taker, but some people would. Permission to record lectures. I had that checked off. I don't think I ever used it, but in case I needed it, it was there. Additional time to complete writing assignments. For some classes, I did need that. For others, I didn't. It depended. I write pretty slow by hand. I type much faster. So any class that I had to write by hand, I would get extra time if I needed it. Again, sometimes I didn't need it. Other times I did. It really depended. And then they also have a part here that says other. I don't really know what other things people might need, but if they did, they need them. Or they were there, I mean. Then they have testing accommodations, extended time, computer with Microsoft Word. Now, as I just mentioned, I actually used a laptop all through college to take notes during all of my classes. So for tests, I did use the computer with Microsoft Word, which meant that I would have to go have another form filled out, this form. And these are actually the duplicate and triplicate forms. And you'd have to fill this out, have this filled out every time you I don't want to take a test, but every time you had to take a test. Um, you had to fill it out with your name, your phone number, your course code, your course title, professor's name, preferred testing arrangements, date, what accommodations you requested, extended time. These are the legal accommodations, the ones that the college was willing to give you. Extended time up to 2 times the original time. Computer with Microsoft Word, spell checker, Zoom text, someone to read for the text for you on the test, enlarged copy, drag and dictate, a private room, a calculator, whether it's traditional or scientific, and again, other. Um, and then they would also say there was another part just for the professor, allowing either open book or open notes, how much time they give the rest of the class, and then they had to sign it. So, admittedly, every time I wanted to take a test and I had to have one of these forms filled out, it was kind of a pain in the butt. But it's nice that I was able to do that. And I would go to a center where they had, on the campus, where they had a few computers with Microsoft Word and with all these things that students with special needs might need. And I did really well because of it. Hey y'all, I'm back. I just had a slight issue, so anyway. The Special Services Office did other things as well. Like, one time, a class I was supposed to be in was in a room that would have been inaccessible to me. So, before the class even had its first meeting, they changed the room. And it ended up being fine. They would also do things like putting a special desk, a wider desk, in a room if I needed a special desk, if there weren't accommodations there already. There may have been other things they did, but as far as I can remember, those were the only things that I needed them to do for me. Okay, so moving on. The campus library was accessible, but only from the back basement entrance. I had to push a button, sort of like a doorbell, and wait 5 or 10, sometimes 15 or 20 minutes for someone to come and open the back door. Then I had to go through a few storage rooms, up an old elevator, and then through more storage rooms to get to the part of the building where the books and the computers actually were. On that note, there was several computer labs on campus, and most of them were accessible, so thankfully that wasn't an issue with the computers. But what ended up happening was I hardly ever used the library. I think I only used it maybe 3 times in the 4 years that I was at the school. In one of the newest buildings on campus, the only bathrooms were downstairs, and it was a 2-floor building. And there was only one handicapped accessible stall, and it did not have a handicap decal on it. So everyone used it. At one point, I put a sticker up, a wheelchair sign sticker, and a few days later it was taken down. I don't know who did it, but yeah, I had trouble with that bathroom often. Okay, so moving on. In Wilson Hall, which, if anybody has seen the movie Annie, it was actually used as Daddy Warbucks' his mansion. So you may recognize it. There was only one accessible bathroom there also. It was on the 2nd floor, and I had to use an elevator that was even older than the one in the library, and it was very scary to use. Excuse me. The building had 3 floors and a basement, Wilson Hall, and the bathrooms that most of the people used were in the basement. Um, when I first got to Monmouth University, I had asked that a stall in the basement be converted into an accessible stall, but it was never done. Okay, so parking. Parking wasn't really an issue. I hardly ever had a problem with it. One, uh, not one time, but one person uh, would park in a handicap spot, and it was the same person every time for a while, and eventually they stopped doing that. I don't really know why, because I didn't say anything to this person. I mean, I complained to other people, but I don't know if it was my complaints. If it was my complaints, I don't know if my complaints led to the person not parking there anymore. Uh, but anyway, after that, there were no issues. Okay, dorms. Some dorms were accessible, some weren't. Um, I'd never lived in the dorms, but I visited a few friends in dorms. I don't really have any idea about the bathrooms in the dorms, though, so I can't really comment any further on that. Okay, as I mentioned before, I was a music major, and in addition to being forced to take piano lessons, I say forced, but I liked it. Uh, Music majors also had to either do chorus or group voice or something like that. I did both, actually. But during choral concerts, I was not with my voice part. I'm a baritone. I think I sang bass. I sometimes sang bass, sometimes sang tenor in chorus in college. But I was not with my voice part when we were on steps or risers because the male voice parts would be on the steps. The female voice parts would be down on the ground level. And it made things tough because um, it's difficult to sing one part if you're listening to different parts around you. So, okay, graduation. About a week before graduation, the location for the graduation was changed. I had made sure that everything would be okay at the original location in terms of getting around, bathrooms, and accessibility, whatnot in general. But I didn't have time to check the new location. Also, I wasn't seated with my classmates at the new location, and you know how at graduations the entire class will walk together to their seats. I didn't get to do that. I was seated way beforehand, and I don't know. I kind of missed out on that, I guess. Um, okay, so you've heard a lot of bad things. There were a ton of good things, though. Definitely more good things than bad things. A lot of professors, I would say the majority of professors, bent over backwards to help me get what I needed, whether it was accessibility or academically. One professor loved me so much that her class was full, and she was like, you know what, my class is full, but you're such a good student, I want you in my class. So she got me in her class, even though the rules said she wasn't supposed to. But it was okay because I didn't need a desk like the other kids needed. I had my own thing. So, and my advisor, who was also one of the music professors, he was just wonderful. And several others. Too many to list, really. I just like to say my advisor and the music professor, Ron Frangipane, Dr. Veit, Dr. Stark, Dr. Paul. These were in all different things: English, literature, marketing, music, anthropology. All really, really great. My Western Civ teacher was really great too because I Refowitz, I think his name was. Anyway, this for Western Civ 2, like I said, I took notes with a computer. My laptop died like 2 days before the final, and I lost everything. So thankfully, he let me borrow his notes and use them to study for the final. That was really nice. So yeah, overall, college was a great experience. I don't like to toot my own horn, so to speak, but I did really well academically. I graduated summa cum laude, and I have my diploma right here. As you can see, Monmouth University. And Joseph Patrick Visagi, that's me, Bachelor of Arts, concentration music with concentration in music industry. Sorry, got a little tongue-tied. And right here, you probably can't see it, it says summa cum laude. Okay. I got the award for highest GPA of a music and or theater major. I actually missed the award ceremony for this because I got a letter about it and I thought it was BS. And I threw it out, so my mom wasn't too happy about that. But they gave the award to me later. And it ended up that the head of the department, who initially had said it would take me 6 years to graduate, he gave me the award. So okay, so what else? I was in the honor society for the school, for Monmouth University. I have that here. And I was also in the Business Honor Society. I would also like to really thank Joseph Patton, who was my media law professor. He was really great, too. I mean, I'm sure I'm forgetting tons of professors that I loved, but, okay, so, another thing, one day I saw this bulletin on a bulletin board for a talent show, and I was like, you know what, I should do that. So I went there and performed the song About, which I co-wrote with one of my friends, and I won, which was really cool. I don't have an award for it. It was a cash award, but I donated it back to the cause that the talent show was supporting. So, I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff, but anyway, if anybody has any questions or concerns or, like, obviously I don't know all there is to know about the college experience. I only know what happened to me, and I've forgotten a lot of that since it's been 8 years since I graduated. But any questions, definitely post a comment or send me a message on YouTube or whatever. I'm planning on doing a video about my high school experiences and my elementary school experiences also. So if you liked this video, I hope you'll watch them. And even if you didn't like this video, I hope you'll watch them anyway. Alright, I'll see you next time.